migration begins at sunset. Thousands of Cape fur seals gather in the shallows and prepare for the run to offshore feeding grounds. But the seals are wary. They know what lies in wait. Even under the cover of night, there is no safe passage here. The great white rules these waters and knows how to hunt both day and night. The city of Cape Town, South Africa, is winding down for the night. But on a nearby island, the action is just starting. Thousands of fur seals have waited until this precise moment to head out in search of food.
Here comes some seals on our right.
9 years ago, photographer Chris Fallows used the most advanced night vision cameras available at the time to film one of these runs.
We've got an incoming seal here, about 50 meters off.
Fallows couldn't believe what happened next.
Oh my God.
The great white attacks in total darkness.
Unbelievable! That was wild!
It was the first time these white sharks had ever been observed hunting at night.
Well, this definitely shows that they're active at night out here.
Another incredible breach.
An unforgettable discovery that had Fallows intrigued about the nighttime habits of the great white. Over the next decade, Fallows returned to Seal Island again and again, hoping to learn more about how these animals hunt in the dark, and how some seals manage to evade them.
When the night falls at Seal Island, things become very heated. For the seals, it becomes a battle to get away from the island. And for the white sharks, it becomes a dark hunting ground where isolating a single prey item becomes that much more difficult.
For all those years, Fallows could only glimpse at the action from the surface. Now, cutting-edge technology may finally let him peer into the hidden world below.
All the other air jaws shows, we've looked at the great white shark's incredible hunting technique during the day. Peel back the veneer of darkness and see what they're doing at night to really find out exactly how they go about locating, catching, and in some cases, killing their prey.
Joining Fallows is shark scientist Dr. Neil Hammerschlag from the University of Miami. Their plan? To follow South Africa's great whites by night, from full moon to full moon, and unravel the mystery of how and why they hunt in the dark.
It's often thought that sharks are more active at dusk hours, where they may have a visual advantage over their prey. However, there's very few studies that have actually looked at that. Here, we're actually testing that phenomenon with white sharks and Cape star seals.
In the past, the team relied on a grainy night vision scope to film in the dark. Now, they're armed with a revolutionary new camera so advanced, it can capture full-color HD imagery even when it's pitch black.
The low-light capabilities of the cameras that we're using really allow us to, for the first time, effectively see at night like we see at day. But what these cameras really allow us to do is to be completely non-invasive, an invisible spectator into the nightlife of the great white shark.
A full moon rises above Seal Island. The perfect night to film hunting sharks. This newly made seal decoy will help the team test the new low-light cameras. The plan is to tow the decoy behind the boat, just as they've done in the daytime, to try and induce the shark to attack. Cameraman Jeff Kerr trains his lens on the decoy, 30 feet behind the boat.
Wow, Chris, it's pitch black out right now, but when you look through the viewfinder of this camera, it looks like it's the middle of the day.
Well, I haven't seen a shark breach at night for 9 years, so it'll be really interesting to see if they're jumping under the full moon and what it looks like with this incredible new camera technology. That was unbelievable!
Wow, that looked insane.
What did it look like on the camera?
It looked like it was the middle of the day. It was incredible.
You got to play that back.
The shark hits the decoy with only the moon to light the way.
That was incredible to see one of these sharks breaching with only the light of the moon. Just an amazing advancement in technology when we compare this to those grainy green images we had 9 years ago. I really think these new cameras are going to allow us to see into the nighttime world of the great white shark like never before.
The moon controls the tides, and fishermen are sure it affects the feeding habits of fish as well. Could the moon also influence great white's hunting tactics?
I'm really interested to find out if there's a difference between white shark hunting during new moons and full moons. In particular, if the light from the full moon allows that shark to have that visual advantage over that seal, so that the shark can look up and see the seal silhouetted in the moonlight, and thereby take advantage and launch strikes.
The advantages of a full moon for a great white shark are clearly that they're able to more readily pick up their prey on the surface. We know by looking at the white shark's eyes that they're particularly capable of picking up animals with high contrast. So a seal silhouetted against the surface is an ideal target for them. And obviously with a full moon, that silhouette is made that much clearer.
But there's more going on here than just swapping moonlight for sunlight. Behind the retina in a great white's eye is a layer of tissue called the tapedum lucidum, which reflects light and gives the animal powerful night vision. The shark has other weapons to work with too. In darkness, it can detect the sound and vibration of its prey with its ears, lateral line, and ampullae of Lorenzini. These are little jelly-like sacs embedded in its snout. Is any one of these senses dominant? Which does the shark rely on more?
I think great white sharks here at Seal Island are using sight as a primary sensor to detect seals and launch attacks at the surface.
Neil really believes that the sharks are relying more on vision than any other sense to kill their prey. Whereas I believe that sound and vibration are the primary cues for the white shark to find, locate, and capture its prey.
To test both ideas, the team will deploy two very different decoys. Chris's sound and vibration decoy is jet black, virtually invisible in the water at night. And Neil's vision decoy is a well-lit target, rigged with glow sticks.
It's a very silent decoy, hopefully going to move very quietly through the water for you to try and prove that vision's the primary sense that the white sharks are using to locate, ultimately catch their prey. See, I'm helping you with your experiment. I haven't seen you helping me with mine.
Don't you see the red cross on top that says it all?
I see a red cross because mine needs help.
The team moves to the island in the dead of night to begin the experiment.
You're going to put yours out on the starboard side, and I'm going to go on the port side, and we're going to set them to the same length.
Sounds good.
Go for it.
All right, man.
Make a lot of sound and vibration.
Which one will the shark choose? It's 4 a.m. at Seal Island, South Africa. Photographer Chris Fallows and shark scientist Neil Hammerschlag are on a mission to find out how great whites hunt by night and determine which of their senses is dominant in the darkness. To that end, they're towing two very different seal decoys behind their research boat, hoping for a great white to attack. One is a visual target lit with glow sticks. The other is a noisy target, an invisible decoy that generates a lot of turbulence and vibration. Jeff Kerr is again behind the camera.
Nighttime at Seal Island is pitch black. I mean, it's so dark, you can't see your hand in front of your face. Until you look into the viewfinder of one of our new cameras, and you see the seal decoy, and it looks like high noon. Hit the dark one. I was focused on the sound and vibration decoy, you know, the one without the glow sticks. Unbelievable shot.
Well, that was incredible. Tonight, the sound and vibration decoy wins. It might not win every night with every shark, but it clearly shows that these sharks can hunt from outside. For me, sound and vibration are the primary cues that the great white shark initially uses to locate and find its prey.
As the sun comes up, night rules no longer apply. Back to business as usual. And swim for your life. Fallows and Kerr have been watching sharks and seals here in daylight for a long time.
20 years ago, when we first started working at Seal Island, we started collecting data. And over the course of the 20 years, we've recorded more than 10,000 predatory events. And we've seen that the success rate of the sharks is only about 15% when they attack groups. However, when a seal returns back on its own, the success rate of the sharks goes up 75%.
Sharks get their share of seals, but they have to work for it.
Certainly when they're leaving the island and when they're returning to the island, they do their very best to make it as difficult for the white shark to find and locate them as possible.
In daytime, there are 25 to 30 sharks lurking in a small area at the southern tip of the island. But there could be a completely different group that specializes in hunting in the dark. The Night Stalkers of Seal Island.
At Seal Island, there's a lot of hunting sharks, and competition is probably high. It's very possible that certain individuals that are specializing hunting seals at nighttime at Seal Island might actually be reducing competition among individuals, giving themselves an advantage.
The first night out, there was a full moon. Now the team wants to see how sharks and seals behave when there's almost no light from above. On a moonless night, the seals are more difficult for the sharks to spot. And the seals seem to know it. Fallows believes a huge group is about to head out on a feeding run.
So I've dived around Seal Island many times by day. I've seen how the seals have behaved, how they've reacted. What I'm really interested to do is to dive here at night.
I think looking at how the seals are behaving will tell us a lot about what the predator is doing, and if there's a higher or low risk at night, and if that differs potentially during a full moon or new moon.
I think by all indications from what we've seen, the seals are leaving en masse at night.
To confirm his theory, Fallows will free dive into one of the island's most dangerous kill zones, known as the launch pad. It's the staging area where the seals gather before heading offshore. The perfect place for a stealthy shark to pick off any loners who've let down their guard. Rank upon rank of seals line up in the shadows and prepare to leave the island in complete darkness, with no moon to guide them.
some sharks, probably the more experienced ones, they know that large numbers of seals are leaving by night. And for them, probably the increased number of seals gives them a greater opportunity to find, track down, and perhaps kill their prey. But in some cases, perhaps certain white sharks, through trial and error, through experience and failure, have learned those subtle techniques that enable them to become more successful nocturnal hunters.
Diving here at night is dangerous for humans too. To a shark on night patrol, Chris looks and moves just like a stray seal.
Predation! Guys, we have a predation right here.
Great white sharks, night stalkers, lie in wait as seals prepare to leave the island on an offshore feeding run. It's an unseen battleground down here that Chris Fallows is determined to explore. But this is a dangerous vantage point. The seals are skittish. They know a shark is near. Barking is a signal to watch out. Moon or no moon, it doesn't seem to matter. Sharks are in full hunting mode.
Predation! Guys, we have a predation right here. He was fielding right at it. Did you get that?
Chris! Hey, you guys see him? We gotta get Chris back in the boat. Okay, I see his flashlight. He's next to the seals.
Two kills very close by, in just a few minutes. There's fresh blood in the water, so Fallows needs to get back into the boat. He's a sitting duck. And the shark could be anywhere right now.
You all right? You okay?
Yeah.
You see the shark down there?
Well, I could hardly see a thing down there. Well, I figured when all the seals scattered and darting away from me that something was going on.
There's a couple predations right around here.
Well, I definitely won't be doing that again. A little bit shaky.
Yeah.
The attacks go on, day and night, moon or no moon, which means Seal Island is under siege 24/7. Ravaged survivors, many of them mortally wounded, are a reminder that the only safe place is on the island itself. Fallows and Hammerschlag are eager to know how round-the-clock threats are affecting the seals' behavior and their well-being. Now there may be a new way to measure that stress.
So to do that, we're doing something pretty unique. We're going out and we're actually collecting seal fecal samples and analyzing that data in the lab to see if sharks are affecting what stress levels they're under.
The inexperienced pups are the most vulnerable. But even the older, wiser cows and bulls fall victim to the great white. There's nowhere else on Earth where seals face a greater risk of shark attack than on this tiny, isolated rock on the southern tip of South Africa. Fallows and Hammerschlag are still on the island as night falls, and they watch the seals get ready to head off.
Let's just watch out for this this young boy over here.
Yeah.
He's not that comfortable. Let's move
No,
this way.
let's get out of his way.
Easy, big guy.
Yeah, it's okay.
Neil's study is particularly interesting in that he's going to take the seal feces and really look at them by analyzing what are known as stable isotopes. And what this will show us is the stress levels that the Seal Island colony are under, and these pressures are being placed on them primarily by the great white shark.
When the analysis comes back from the lab, the result is not surprising.
We
found the Seal Island scan contains quite a bit more stress hormone. The results are still preliminary, but I think this discovery suggests the Seal Island seals, besieged by great white sharks 24/7, are amongst the most stressed out seals in the world.
There's no fast food deliveries for them. If you want to go out and get food by day or by night, same threats, same problems.
Tough life, you
same
know.
hardships. I really admire seals. I always think of the great white as the apex predator, but these guys are super predators in their own right, and they're right near the top of the food chain. That's really what makes the battle between the great white and the seal just that intriguing, because it's not like a lion taking down an antelope. This is a super predator taking on a very formidable predator as well.
Without a doubt.
Another month has gone by, and tonight there will be another full moon over Seal Island. Just offshore, the white sharks are gearing up to hunt. Neil Hammerschlag has been focused on the seals so far. Now he wants to delve into the shark's world.
Neil, stand by.
That's a nice shark. Guys, great white shark. Woo!
Right. There he is, right here.
Okay, guys, look alive.
To do that, he has to clamp acoustic pingers to the dorsal fins of several sharks. It's a tricky business.
Do you know which way he's coming in?
The tags stay in place up to 10 days before falling off. But they should give Neil and Chris an idea where the Night Stalkers hunt.
Oh, it's on. It's not very tight, but it's on.
Well done, man. Well done.
This right here, this gray piece, it's an acoustic pinger tag. What it's doing is sending off an ultrasonic signal. We're going to stick a hydrophone in the water that's going to listen to the sound of that pinging going away from the tag that's on the animal. That's going to allow us to track that shark in real time and see what it's doing here at Seal Island at night and how that changes on a full moon.
The second shark comes to within range of the tagging pole.
Okay, coming in now. Just be careful there.
Yeah, baby!
The first shark manages to lose its pinger, but the second shark's is perfectly placed. It circles, then dives, and the track begins. The hydrophone can tell which way the shark is going.
This unit is actually getting right now a GPS fixing, so it's trying to figure out exactly where we are, because this unit itself will actually map out where we are, and essentially we're following the shark, so we'll know where the shark is based on the GPS that this tool is logging. Make a 180.
Going to starboard, 180.
We're right on it.
He's probably right under us. I wonder who's following who.
Night falls, and the track continues off Seal Island. Suddenly, the tagged shark dives even deeper.
We're right on top of him. We're right on him. He's here, right here.
The big shark has led the team directly into its night hunting grounds. A team of shark experts has discovered that great whites hunt both day and night,
Oh my gosh, look at the moon.
but they don't need the moon. They can strike just as well using only their extreme sensitivity to sound and vibration. Still, the sharks are more likely to hunt under a full moon. Like the one this night. They can use their special night vision eyes and see the seals silhouetted in the moonlight. The seals can't see them coming in the dark. So during a full moon, smart seals stay put on the island. They seem to know the brighter the moon, the greater the risk. Now Neil and Chris want to find out where the sharks go after dark, and if they take a different approach to stalking the island at night.
Now let's try this area here. This is a typical transit path of the seals. I think this is probably a good spot where we'd expect to find the shark if they're hunting at this time.
I haven't seen too many seals, so who knows if the sharks are around here?
I think it's really interesting the fact that we're not seeing seals under the full moon. Nature always does something for a very good reason. And if there are no seals here tonight, the reason for that might be an anti-predatory response.
Times are out here, certainly when it's pitch black out, you just see seals everywhere. They certainly could be using the cover of darkness to avoid predation.
Neil and Chris believe this area off the island's western shoreline is an after-dark hotspot for great whites. It's known as Sector 4. Their tag shark has led them right to it.
He's definitely moving away from the island now.
Well, he's really nearby. He's right here. Just go a bit forward, please.
Forward?
Yeah. The shark has started to move. Very close to us. Okay, go neutral. Mood is pretty high. And hydrophone, just put it in for another spot check to listen. He's here, right here. You're right on top of him. We're right on him. Shark is right here, guys, right by the boat.
This is the spot where night-hunting white sharks lie in ambush, waiting for the seals to leave the island. Sector 4 lies about 300 yards off the southern tip of the island. The perfect place to see how the white sharks stalk their prey by night, especially in the critical moments just before an attack. Now, for the first time, they think they have a way to watch sharks on the ocean floor in total darkness by using sonar.
I want to connect to it before we stick it in the water.
This technology should also reveal what strategies the seals use to avoid attack when passing through Sector 4. Sonar works by sending sound waves through the water. When these waves hit a solid object, like a swimming shark, they bounce back and can be converted into a digital image. Despite a full moon, a group of seals risks a run offshore.
Geez, there are a whole mob of them, eh? It's like potty town.
Oh my gosh, look how many there are. That's amazing. Oh, that's crazy.
The sonar reveals that the seals are swimming about 20 feet underwater. Smart. This creates less turbulence and sound for the sharks to pick up on.
They don't look too scared of sharks right now.
No, they don't seem too concerned about sharks right now. Oh, shark, 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 shark.
Whoa, look at that.
Oh my gosh, look at that animal moving just along the bottom. That's unreal.
Look at the definition. That is incredible. Look how you can clearly see the shape of the shark. You can see the mouth. You can see the cone-shaped head. I mean, not only can you see it's a shark, you can clearly see it's a great white shark. And just to see how it's utilizing the bottom in plain sight for us to see is something that I guess technology is now revealing for the first time.
There are plenty of seals within striking distance, but their anti-predator strategy of swimming deep underwater seems to pay off. Without any noisy splashing to hone in on, the shark doesn't even mount an attack. This time, the seals win.
Your turn, member last, please.
Ready to go, man?
The prey may have fled, but the predator's still down there. Now the team prepares for an after-dark descent into the underworld of the great white shark. On the last night of their expedition, the team is anchored in Sector 4 off Seal Island and use sonar to watch a group of seals swim offshore.
They don't look too scared of sharks right now.
No.
They passed through this hunting ground undetected by great white sharks. And now, Chris Fallows wants to dive into this notorious kill zone to see if he can identify any of the sharks that may have developed a preference for night hunting.
I've seen many of these sharks during the day and can recognize them by various scars and markings. What's going to be very interesting to see is if we see the same sharks at night or if a completely new batch arrives once it gets dark.
You guys ready?
The visibility is very poor, but white sharks don't need to see their prey to kill it.
It's so dark, it really is a predator's world. Oh, just got one down. Even just probably 2 or 3 meters away, I could hardly see the animal.
To the human eye, these waters are pitch black, but the low-light camera opens up a whole new world.
Can't believe that they can actually see anything. The wind is really bad down here. It suddenly just materialized. Wow, there's one here right now. I'm sure that they must be relying purely
On the surface, cameraman Jeff Kerr is watching a video feed from below.
Okay, we have a shark on your left, heading right for the bait. Little male coming in fast.
Okay, copy that, Jeff. I've got him. He's coming in. Oh, I just made the most beautiful pass right in front of me. It's really amazing to see them in this water because the snowfields of biological data make it just that much more confusing.
We have 2 sharks now. 2 sharks around the boat. He's staying outside, now he's turning. Turning now about 20 feet out. Shark's coming from your right, coming in hot. Whoa. Chris, you okay? Looked like the shark tried to get in the cage with you. Chris, do you copy? Are you all right? Big female coming in from your right-hand side. Shark on the right. Shark on the right. Heading back for the bait.
I just had one. Oh, it's just taking a run for the bait.
Okay, probably time to come up. I'll see you on deck.
I haven't seen any of these sharks before. And this could be due to the fact that these animals have become specialists. Sharks adapted to feeding in the dark. Nighttime adapted animals. The night stalkers of Seal Island.
Oh my God! In nature, those that learn, adapt and evolve live on to see another day. In the case of the great white shark, the ability to continually outsmart its prey and refine the way it hunts over millions of years has made it the apex predator it is today. Those return to Seal Island again and again, hoping to learn more about how these animals hunt in the dark and how some seals manage to evade them.
When the night falls at Seal Island, things become very heated. For the seals, it becomes a battle to get away from the island. And for the white sharks, it becomes a dark hunting ground where isolating a single prey item becomes that much more difficult.
For all those years, Fallows could only glimpse at the action from the surface. Now, cutting-edge technology may finally let him peer into the hidden world below.
All the other air jaws shows, we've looked at the great white shark's incredible hunting technique during the day.
migration begins at sunset. Thousands of Cape fur seals gather in the shallows and prepare for the run to offshore feeding grounds. But the seals are wary. They know what lies in wait.
Here comes some seals on our right.
9 years ago, photographer Chris Fallows used the most advanced night vision cameras available at the time to film one of these runs.
We've got an incoming seal here, about 50 meters off.
Fallows couldn't believe what happened next.
Oh my god.
A great white attacks in total darkness.
Unbelievable!
That was wild.
It was the first time these white sharks had ever been observed hunting at night.
Well, this definitely shows that they're active at night out here.
Another incredible breach.
An unforgettable discovery that had Fallows intrigued about the nighttime habits of the great white. Over the next decade, Fallows... Even under the cover of night, there is no safe passage here. The great white rules these waters and knows how to hunt both day and night. The city of Cape Town, South Africa, is winding down for the night. But on a nearby island, the action is just starting. Thousands of fur seals have waited until this precise moment to head out in search of food.
Now we're going to peel back the veneer of darkness and see what they're doing at night, to really find out exactly how they go about locating, catching, and in some cases killing their prey.
Joining Fallows is shark scientist Dr. Neil Hammerschlag from the University of Miami. Their plan? To follow South Africa's great whites by night, from full moon to full moon, and unravel the mystery of how and why they hunt.